So, I almost forgot to film this because I was like, oh man, I'm bored today. Well, oh god. Anyway, whatever, A Quiet Place 2. So Quiet Place 2 takes place like right after the first one. Um, it's the same length as the first one, although this one, pacing wise, like, went by a lot quicker. Um, which makes a lot of sense because the first one is kind of like, not like a slow burn, but like there was build up and, explanation to the creature and all that stuff. Of course, backstory, blah blah blah, all that stuff, which of course can lead to the sequel to be like, ah, that kind of shit. I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed it just like the first one. I'll get into spoilers a little bit later. But yeah, like with this one, as you can see in the trailer, Cillian Murphy's in it, and he's in it. Djimon Hounsou is in it, and he's there really as like slightly longer than what you see in the trailer. Really, no like spoilers. Just that is what it is. Yeah. Other than that, no disappointment. I like I like the choices they made to do what they did for the sequel. I like that it wasn't like the same thing over and over again, like the curse of the sequel thing of like, let's take the one or two things people really liked in the first movie and then do it 1,000 times. I mean, technically, I guess the way how you fight the monster could be, said to be that thing, but it's like, no, it's like saying like, oh man, you zombies, you gotta shoot them in the head. Oh, they keep doing that. That's like, such a trope. Like, oh, it is a trope. I mean, like, it's so cliche. Oh my god, I can't believe they're doing that. Oh my god, like whatever, film bro thing to be said. Trying to think, what else can I say before going to spoilers? Can't really think of any. Yeah, so okay, one, two, three spoilers. So, like I said, this movie, like it doesn't immediately go like shit right after, the movie ends. It kind of gives like a slight rewind, to way before any of the stuff happens. Because the first movie starts off with like it being like kind of like 90 days in kind of shit. Um, and then this one, they kind of go like day one kind of shit. And John Krasinski's back for the opening sequence, duh. You see Cillian Murphy with them like at like the Suns baseball game just to kind of establish that like, okay, they previously know Cillian Murphy. Um, he's not just like some random guy kind of thing, because a lot of movies that do this with like sequels, they'll put like a well-known actor in it, and it, it's like, yes, as the audience member, you're like, well, it's Cillian Murphy. Like, I would trust Cillian Murphy because it's Cillian Murphy. But then if you kind of think about it, you're like, well, why would this family trust this guy? He's just like some random dude just because he's got those pretty blue eyes and he's Cillian Murphy. But anyway, no, this like it made sense for them to be like, oh yeah, 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 you knew him beforehand. He's not just like some regular guy, like some rando. Um, so yeah, they kind of show that, and then again, you see it in the trailer, which it is very smart that like a good chunk of the trailer is really like the first 30 minutes to maybe a little bit more, but like they were smart with that. Again, with the first movie, how they did the trailer, and then of course, I mean, you don't really go to the movies as often, like the theaters often now. But the thing of like, okay, once the movie's been out for at least like a few weeks, and then the trailer kind of changes a little. Well, with like giving a like it kind of gives a little bit more information. Um, Anyway, so yeah. So it shows us up in the trailer where like Emily Blunt's driving and then there's a bus and then she's got to back away and it's kind of like first person perspective kind of thing, like, or like really you're in the car with them, like that POV, that's what I mean. Um so there's that, like that's great. And then yeah, then it jumps to like bam, you know right as like they kill the monster, you know, Emily Blunt's got the shotgun kind of shit, and then they kind of like, we gotta go. So of course they know to like, let's get the fuck out of this house. Let's put the baby in the box kind of thing. Let's go, go, go. And so from there, like the whole movie is kind of like this, because again, like it's like day one, they go to the thing, and you know, blah blah blah, you know, like the things, and then it's like small towns freaking out, like. The driving in that scene is great. I just wish people who did Bird Box like did, you know, not that that was a good movie, but like, you know, one of those like chaotic driving sequences, like that's how you film one, you know. Anyway, so yeah, then it goes to that, then it's like, oh my god, the son getting his foot in the bear trap and him just being like, ah! Like just letting out that curdling scream. Like, good on you, kid, that was some good acting. That he really sounded like he had his foot in a bear trap. He was just like, ah! And the mom was like, shh, like, shut up, like, and I'm sitting there like, oh god, they're dead. I was like, they're dead, they're fucking dead. And he's, ah! Oh my god, like insane, like how much he just screamed his head off. Again, great job. Cillian Murphy goes and like, you know, helps them out, and then they go into like not a silo, but they go into a thingy, and then there's like a furnace and stuff, so it's pretty soundproof, and you kind of figure that out from the trailer, that's soundproof. So there's a lot more talking in this movie than the other one. Again, the other one was definitely like 85 to 90% of like no talking, you know, it's all through sign language or whatever, and when there is talking, you know, it's necessary. And I feel like with this movie, it's kind of great that they were able to kind of like in a way move a little bit past like just being silent, you know, like you again, you have to adapt and, you know, move on and figure it out. But I also like that it wasn't like it wasn't just like whatever, we could just like we're free to talk whenever kind of stuff. It's like, okay, we can only talk when we're in the furnace thingy because it's pretty soundproof. But even then they're like, yo, okay, we gotta do this. Like it's that, it's, you know, it's not like that thing where they're like, oh my god, close the door, we're good, wah! You know, like it's not that kind of thing where you're like, bro. And again, still, you know, they're still using sign language when they're outside, you know, they're still being quiet. Again, you're still going with the idea of the concept of this, like the film series or whatever you want to call it. Again, because there's so many times with sequels that it just kind of just, like, in a sense falls apart, or like one, or like those things where it didn't happen in this movie, but you know how like again with sequels there'll be things that are like, wait a second, that was the rule in the first, like in the first movie they said they can't do that, why all of a sudden can you do it now? It's only been, you know, a day and a half, you know, in between movies, kind of, you know, like that kind of shit, and you're like, but this one, like, again, they knew what they were doing. There were some, like, there was like a part where like people were just kind of chilling, and it kind of reminded me of there's that spot in like The Walking Dead where you know, when the governor and all that stuff happened, you know, where everyone's just like, everything's fine, there's no apocalypse behind us, kind of, there's no alien creatures behind us, like that kind of shit. But then of course, like, then they started getting picked off, and I'm like, that's what you get, you know. What else is there? Yeah, like I said, this movie moved so fast. There was one part where I was like, how much, like, I'm like halfway through the movie, right? And I was like, oh my god, I got like 15 minutes left in the movie. I was like, holy shit, you know. And I've said it before, like, I've watched like 84-minute movies that felt like it was like 2.5 hours, you know, for pacing and just, oh my god, kill me. This movie, I was just like, oh yeah, huh? I was just like, and then I was just like, I'm like halfway through the movie. Oh shit, movie's almost done. Fuck. I do like the at the end when like the brother and sister were both fighting their own, like, their own monsters, like, wow, that symbolism, like, but they were fighting their own, like, you know, monster creatures, and like in their own way, but also still using the hearing aid thing, which was smart, you know, it was great. Also, I love that they used like some great lighting in those scenes. I like that they cut back and forth between the brother and sister fighting it. It was just a very good kind of like, you know, it's like, you know, again, they learn. You gotta like hit them with the high pitched noise with the Mariah Carey scream, and then you just shoot them in the head. Like, awesome. Have at it, you know. Um, I've never played this game, but a lot of people were comparing the Cillian Murphy and the daughter scenes to like The Last of Us, which I've never played the game, but I've like seen videos and screenshots and whatever not of it, and I was like, yeah, that like even me as someone who's never played the game, I was like, yeah, like you can, there's like that feel to it, because it's like Cillian Murphy is like kind of like, I guess you would say, uncle, adoptive father kind of thing to the girl, because there's a there I go. There's a part in the movie where, you know, there was like a bait child, which that are words I just said. Ugh, sounds gross. Anyway, there was a child, a trap. Oh God, no, that's not even good. Anyway, there was a kid, and then, you know, Cillian Murphy being like, oh, this kid needs help, and immediately the kid just like puts a rope around his neck, and then puts like this like, the rope is attached to like this fishnet thing that wrapped around him, and it's like cans on it, so he moved, it was like, and it's like, shit, you know. That, like, you know, again, just kind of using The Walking Dead as an example of like, you know, apocalyptic kind of things. Of course, there's like people who are like, okay, let's stick together and survive and, you know, do good, and then there's people who are like, let's fuck other people over, because, you know, America. That kind of shit. I like this movie. Like I said, I enjoyed it as much as I did the first one. I didn't see this one in theaters. I did watch it at home. I bet I probably would have had, like, you know, again, similar, like, feel to it. Again, like, when I saw the first one in theaters, I had a great audience. They were well behaved, for fuck's sakes, because it's a quiet movie, you know, which was great. This one, because there was a little bit more action, a little bit more talking, and all that stuff, I don't think it would have really mattered, but, and also, like, theaters are still kind of, like, they're not at full capacity, so, whatever. But yeah, I watched this at home, again, like like I said, the movie went by so quickly for me. I was just like, oh, okay. Like, you know, I didn't feel like, oh fuck, I was watching a movie, because I was like, oh, and I was like, oh shit, oh, when the movie's done, oh fuck. Like, seriously, when the movie ended, I was like, just watching the credits, I kind of was like, what? Oh shit, that is the end. Oh, okay, fuck. You know, again, I liked it. It's great. You know, like, I don't need them to make a third one, but, you know, it's one of those things where, like, there might be a third one only because of, you know, people, like, there are, from what I've seen, like, a lot of people still really like this movie, so, you know, the whole, like, oh, people liked it, we gotta give it a sequel. But that aside, I would love to see what else, like, John Krasinski and Emily Blunt kind of, like, you know, like, what their next thing is, you know, because, like, I really didn't expect this from John Krasinski, so I was like, okay, that's cool. English words, yeah. The Quiet Place 2 was a movie. I think the next one I'm gonna watch is like the Fast and Furious movie. I'm not gonna do a review on that one because it's just gonna be stupid. There's all those family memes going around. Like, it's, well, what is my, like, Fast and Furious review gonna be? Just like, hey, guess what? Physics doesn't matter here in this series. Also, Vin Diesel was like, John Cena, you know, like, fuck. Anyway, yeah, so, yeah, I don't fucking know.